Ella sat on the park bench alone. The wind was soft, and the trees whispered gently in the late afternoon sun. Children laughed in the distance, and a dog barked near the fountain. But Ella didn't hear much of it. Her mind was far away. Just like Mia had moved 6 months ago. She was Ella's best friend, her favorite person. They used to walk in this very park almost every day after school. They shared jokes, dreams, and stories that only they understood. But ever since Mia moved to another city, everything felt empty. At first, they called every day. They laughed over video chats, sent each other silly voice notes, and made plans for the future. But slowly, the calls got shorter. Then they came less often. Now it had been 2 weeks since they talked. Ella didn't know what to say anymore. She missed Mia so much, but it felt like they were drifting apart. Maybe Mia had new friends now. Maybe she had a new park to walk in, a new bench to sit on. The thought made Ella's chest feel heavy. She looked down at her hands and whispered, "Do you even miss me too?" A leaf floated down from a tree and landed next to her. It was red, a sign that autumn was coming. Seasons were changing, and maybe friendships changed too. It scared her. Ella stood up and walked slowly toward the library. It used to be her and Mia's favorite place. They'd sit in the corner reading fantasy books and pretending they were on space missions or exploring lost planets. Now, Ella just browsed alone. Inside the library, she found a small notebook. Its cover was blue with tiny stars on it. Something about it reminded her of Mia, of their silly space stories. She opened it and wrote on the first page, "Dear Mia, today I sat on our bench alone. It felt quiet. I miss you. I hope you're happy where you are. I wish I could tell you that in person, but I don't know how anymore." Ella, she didn't plan to send it. She just needed to write it. But somehow, writing made her feel a little better, a little lighter. That night, Ella stared at her phone screen. Mia's name was still at the top of their old chat. The last message was simple, "Talk later?" Ella had never replied. She felt a pang of guilt. Maybe Mia was waiting too. She picked up the notebook again and wrote another page. "What if you miss me too, but don't know how to say it? What if we're both just afraid?" The next day, Ella returned to the bench. She opened the notebook and began writing every day. Each page was a little letter to Mia. Some were sad, some were full of memories, some were full of questions. Each one helped her feel close again, even from far away. One day, as she finished writing, Ella looked up at the sky and smiled. "Maybe this isn't the end," she said softly. "Maybe this is just a different chapter." She didn't know how to reconnect yet. She didn't have the perfect words. But she had hope. The quiet kind that sits in your heart and tells you not to give up. Humans are funny that way. Even when they feel far apart, their hearts find ways to reach each other. And Ella, sitting on that old bench with her notebook full of feelings, was beginning to believe that the wind was colder now. Autumn had truly arrived. Leaves danced across the sidewalk as Ella walked to school, her hands deep in her coat pockets. The sky was gray, and the trees looked tired. Everything around her seemed to reflect how she felt inside. At lunch, she sat alone under the old tree near the back of the schoolyard. She opened the blue notebook, the one she had started writing to Mia. It was already half full. "Hi, Mia," she wrote. "I saw someone at school today who looked like you. Wasn't you, of course? But it made me smile for a second." She paused. "I still don't know if I should message you.
What if you moved on?
What if I'm just holding on to something that isn't there anymore?" She sighed and closed the notebook. Round her, students laughed, shared food, and talked in small circles. Ella missed that. She missed belonging to someone's world. Mia used to be her world. Now everything felt quieter. After school, she walked past the corner cafe. She stopped and looked in the window. That was the place she and Mia used to go after finishing their library visits. They'd order one hot chocolate and share it while talking about books and silly things. Ella smiled sadly. She went inside and ordered hot chocolate just for herself. Sitting in the same seat they used to share, she pulled out the notebook again. This time, she didn't write about the past. She wrote about what she wanted. I want to talk to you. I want to tell you about school and books and the park. I want to know how you're doing, even if everything is different now. I don't care if it's awkward. I just miss you. That night, Ella stared at her phone again. She opened Mia's old messages. Her finger hovered over the keyboard. Then, stopped. She was scared. Scared of silence. Scared of getting no reply. So instead, she did something new. She opened her camera and took a photo of the notebook page. No filters, no emojis, just real words. Then she saved the photo, but didn't send it. Maybe tomorrow, she whispered. The next day, Ella sat in the park again. It was quieter. Now, the wind stronger. Her notebook pages fluttered in the breeze. She held them tight. Suddenly, an older woman walking her dog stopped nearby. You write in that notebook a lot, the woman said kindly. Are you a poet? Ella laughed softly. No, just writing to someone I miss. The woman nodded. Ah, someone far away. Ella nodded too. The woman smiled gently. Sometimes when people go far, they don't realize how much they're still needed here. Ella blinked. What do you mean? The woman said. You don't always need the perfect words. Just honest ones. That's how humans connect. Even across miles. Ella sat quietly as the woman walked away with her dog. Her words stayed. That night, back in her room, Ella opened the messages again. Her heart was beating fast. She looked at the photo of her notebook page, then she pressed send. She stared at the screen for a long time. Nothing came. Minutes passed, then an hour. Still nothing. Ella placed the phone on her desk and sat quietly. Her chest felt heavy again. But this time, there was also something else, something lighter. She had done it. She had taken the first step, and that was enough for now. Humans are strong in small ways. Sometimes it's in the courage to speak even when we're afraid. It's in writing down what the heart feels, even if the world doesn't answer right away. Ella looked out the window at the stars and whispered, "Good night, Mia, wherever you are." And though the silence remained, her heart felt just a little less alone. Every Sunday now, Ella sat on the bench at the park. It had become her quiet routine, same time, same place. But it no longer felt lonely, because Mia was part of it again. They couldn't sit side by side like before. But they had started something new, a shared moment. Each Sunday, they would both visit their favorite peaceful place, Ella to the park, and Mia to a tree near her new school. They would call or send a voice message at the same time, telling each other what they saw, heard, or felt. This week, Mia sent a voice message first. "Hey, Elle," she said warmly. "The tree here is starting to turn golden. So big, and the wind makes its leaves whisper, kind of like the ones in our old park. I brought a blanket and a book, but I can't read much. I keep thinking of us pretending to be space explorers." Ella smiled as she listened. Then she recorded her reply. "Hey, Mia, our bench is still here, and it's covered in tiny yellow leaves. I saw a squirrel chasing its tail for 5 minutes straight. I think it would have made you laugh. I miss that laugh." They both kept their notebooks too. They didn't always share what they wrote, but knowing the other person was writing made it special. It was their way of staying close, even when the world felt far apart. One day at school, Ella's art teacher gave them a new project. Create something that shows a connection. Most students groaned, unsure what to do. But Ella knew right away. That evening, she opened her notebook and sketched 2 trees, one in her park, one in Mia's schoolyard. The roots of both trees were connected underground, forming the shape of a heart. In the middle, she drew their shared notebook, pages open, words flying out like birds. She took a photo and sent it to Mia. A few minutes later, Mia replied with a photo of her own drawing, nearly the same idea. 2 stars in the sky, far apart but linked by a glowing ribbon of light. Between them, tiny letters floated in space. Ella laughed, then wiped away a happy tear. "We're still in sync," she typed. "Always," Mia replied. But of course not. Every day was easy. Some days were quiet. Some days school felt too busy. Some weekends One of them forgot to reply right away. And every time that happened, Ella felt a small ache in her chest. Is it slipping again? She would wonder. But then a message would come. Sorry I took long. Just had a busy day. Still miss you. Hey. No call today, but I'm thinking of you. Our notebook pages are keeping me strong. Ella realized something important. Staying close didn't mean talking all the time. It meant trying. It meant caring. It meant not giving up, even when things felt messy. One evening, she sat with her mom in the kitchen. You've been writing a lot, her mom said gently. Everything okay? Ella nodded. I'm just learning how to stay close. To someone far away, her mom smiled. That's not easy. But people with kind hearts find a way. Ella thought about that as she lay in bed later that night. She opened her notebook and wrote, Today I learned that love, real friendship, isn't always loud or perfect. Sometimes it's quiet, like a shared sky, or matching drawings, or waiting a little longer for someone's reply and still smiling when it comes. Then she turned off the light and whispered, Good night, Mia. And somewhere far away, Mia whispered the same. Asterisk, it was a Friday afternoon, and the sky was full of soft golden light. Ella sat in her room, flipping through her notebook. Page after page was filled with little notes, memories, messages for Mia. She had been writing in it for almost 3 months now. She smiled at one page. It had a drawing of their bench, covered in snow, even though it hadn't snowed yet. Another page had a list. Things we will do when we meet again. Walk through the old park, drink one hot chocolate together, not share. Read a book and laugh in the library corner. Watch the stars and talk about the past. Ella added one more. 5. Hug for a long time and not let go right away. Later that evening, she got a voice message from Mia. Hey, Elle, I've been thinking about something. What if we tried to meet? Like for real? Maybe during winter break. I miss you so much. I want to sit on that bench with you again. I know it's not easy, but maybe we could ask our parents. Ella's heart raced. The idea of seeing Mia again, in person, felt like sunlight breaking through a cloudy sky. She ran to her mom in the kitchen. Mom, she asked gently, can I show you something? She played Mia's voice message. Mom listened closely, then looked at Ella's hopeful eyes. We'll see, her mom said kindly. It depends on timing, money, and plans. But I'm proud of you for trying. It wasn't a yes, but it wasn't a no. The next day, Mia sent a picture, her mom smiling beside her, giving a thumbs up. The message read, she said she'd love to help make it happen. Maybe your family can visit us, or I can come to you. Ella replied right away. We'll start checking dates. I'm so excited I can't sit still. The rest of the week, they planned in little pieces. Not everything was certain. But the dream was real. Started calling more often, sharing more stories, imagining the day they would meet again. One night, Ella sat on her bed, looking out the window at the stars. She thought about how far apart they really were, how many cities. Miles and roads stretched between them. But then she thought about their voices, their shared notebook drawings, the way they still laughed together, and she realized something. Distance couldn't erase real connection. It could only delay it. She opened her notebook and wrote, Today we made a plan. It's not perfect. It's not guaranteed, but it's full of hope. And that's enough for me. At school, Ella's friends noticed her brighter mood. You seem happier, one of them said. Ella smiled. I might see someone important to me again soon. They didn't ask more, and that was okay. Some connections didn't need to be explained. Some stories were quiet but powerful. Later that week, Mia sent her another message. Even if we can't meet this winter, let's not give up. Just making the plan made me feel like we were already closer, like our friendship is strong enough to cross oceans, Ella replied. Yes, whether it's in a month or a year, I'll wait, because you're worth it. And she meant it, because that's what humans do. They hope, they dream, and they believe in each other. Even when life is uncertain. Even when time and space try to separate them. Ella sat at her window that night, the cold glass under her hand, stars sparkling above. I'll see you soon, Mia, she whispered. And somehow, she knew Mia was whispering the same thing back. The next morning, Ella woke up with a strange feeling in her chest, a mix of nervousness and quiet hope. She had sent Mia the message the night before, a photo of one of her notebook pages. It was simple and honest. But Mia hadn't replied. Ella tried not to think too much about it as she got ready for school. She packed her bag slowly, glancing at her phone every few minutes. Still no reply. By the time she reached her classroom, her heart felt heavy again. Maybe it had been too long. Maybe Mia didn't know what to say. Maybe things had changed too much. At lunch, she sat under the same tree again, the notebook in her lap. She didn't write anything this time. She just stared at the blank page. Even the wind felt quiet today. Why did I expect something? She whispered, but deep down, she knew the answer. Because humans always hope, even when they're scared. After school, Ella walked home slowly. She passed the corner cafe but didn't go in. She didn't feel like having hot chocolate today once. Home, she dropped her bag, sat on her bed, and looked at her phone again. Still nothing. She sighed, put the phone down, and opened the notebook. She flipped through the pages filled with thoughts, feelings, and memories. Each one was a piece of her heart. Then a buzz. Her phone lit up. She didn't look right away. She froze, afraid to hope, but something told her it was Mia. She reached. For the phone with shaky hands, it was a message from Mia. Ella, I don't even know what to say. I read your note and I cried. I missed you too. So much. I thought you moved on. I was scared to reach out. But I never stopped thinking about you. Ella stared at the screen. Her eyes filled with tears, the warm kind. Not from sadness, but from relief. From feeling seen, her fingers moved slowly, typing back. I thought the same. I was afraid too, but I never stopped missing you. Another message came quickly. Can we call soon? I want to hear everything. About school, the park, the cafe, all of it. Ella smiled, a real big smile that reached her eyes. Her heart, which had felt so empty just hours ago, now felt full. She typed, yes, let's talk this weekend.
Ow.
Be on the bench. Our bench. Later that evening, Ella walked outside just to breathe. The stars were out, and the sky was wide and calm. She looked up and whispered thank you, not to anyone in particular. Just to the world for listening, because humans have something special. Even when they fall apart, they find their way back. Through small messages. Quiet hope. Through courage wrapped in fear, Ella opened her notebook once more and wrote, today something changed. Not the distance, but the silence. It broke, and behind it, I found you again. She closed the book gently, held it close to her chest, and smiled. This wasn't the end. It was a new beginning. Asterisk, the wind was softer today. The sun peeked gently through the clouds as Ella sat on their old bench, the notebook in her lap. She had come early, just to breathe, to prepare herself. Today was the day she and Mia had planned their first call since everything changed. Since the move, since the silence. Ella looked at the bench beside her. For a moment, she imagined Mia. Sitting there, her smile wide, her eyes full of excitement like always. Da-da-da-da-da. But the bench was empty. Still, her heart felt full of something new. Her phone buzzed. Incoming call. Mia took a deep breath and answered. Hi, she said softly. Hi, Mia replied, her voice just as soft. Yes. It felt right. I wish I could be there too, Mia said. I really do. There was a pause. Not an awkward one. Just full. Then they both started talking at once. How have you been? I missed you so much. They laughed. A small, shared laugh that warmed the cold space between them. You first, Mia said. Ella took a deep breath. I've been okay. School's the same. The library still smells like old paper. I started writing in a notebook. To you, actually, really. Mia's voice was full of surprise. Yeah, Ella said. Every day almost. It helped me feel close. Even when we weren't talking, it was silence again. Then Mia said, I needed that. I didn't know how to say anything. I was scared. You didn't care anymore. I thought the same, Ella admitted. It's strange how we both felt the same way, but stayed quiet. Humans are weird like that, Mia said with a soft chuckle. Yeah, Ella replied. But we always try again. That's the good part. We spent an hour talking about school, books, silly memories, and even new things. Mia told her about her new town, her room, the people at her school. It's okay here, she said. But it's not the same. It's not us. Ella nodded. Yeah, I get that. After the call, Ella sat on the bench a little longer. She looked around. The park was just as it had always been, but now it felt alive again, because Mia was back. Maybe not here in person, but back in her world. That evening, Ella opened her notebook and wrote, We spoke today. Really spoke, not just short texts or awkward check-ins. We laughed. We remembered. And I felt something I hadn't felt in a while. Peace. She smiled as she wrote. It wasn't perfect. The distance was still there. But the silence was gone. And that meant everything. Later, Mia sent her a photo of her room. On her desk was a notebook just like Ella's. I got one too, Mia wrote. Thought maybe we could write together, even apart? Ella laughed, wiping a small tear from her eye. She typed back, Yes. Let's write the next pages together. Just like that, a new chapter began. Because humans don't give up on the people they love, even when it's hard. Even when time and space try to stretch the bond, they write. They call, they remember, and slowly they rebuild, one page at a time. The days grew colder. Frost appeared on windows in the morning, and the trees stood quiet, their branches bare. Winter was arriving, and so was the day Ella had marked on her calendar, the day. Mia was supposed to visit. Ella had counted down for weeks. She had circled the date in red, drawn stars around it, even made a list of everything they would do. Visit the library, share hot chocolate, sit on the bench, laugh like they used to. She checked her bag twice, made a handmade welcome card, and even bought matching bracelets to give Mia when she arrived. But the night before the visit, everything changed. Ella was brushing her hair when her phone buzzed. She picked it up and saw Mia's name. Ella, I have bad news. Her chest tightened. My little brother got sick, and now we're not allowed to travel. My mom said it's not safe. I'm really, really sorry. Ella sat on her bed, her heart sinking. She stared at the message. Her fingers hovered over the screen, but she didn't know what to say. A tear rolled down her cheek. She had waited for this moment. She had hoped. She had dreamed, and now it was slipping away. She turned off her phone, lay down, and stared at the ceiling. The room felt quiet, too quiet. She wasn't angry. She wasn't blaming Mia. But the sadness was heavy. The next morning, she stayed. In bed longer than usual. The calendar on her wall showed the red circle. But now, it just looked like a reminder of something that wasn't going to happen. Still, later that afternoon, she went to the park anyway. She sat on the bench, cold and empty. She pulled out the notebook. Slowly, she began to write, Dear Mia, today was supposed to be our day. And now it isn't. I know it's not your fault. I know you're sad too. But it still hurts. Even so. I came to the bench. I sat here and imagined you beside me. I remembered our voices, our dreams. That helped, 'cause even though the plan changed, you didn't disappear, and neither did our friendship. That night, Ella finally replied to Mia's message. Okay, I was really sad, but I know this wasn't your fault. I went to the park today. I thought about you the whole time. We'll try again soon. I'm not giving up, Mia replied, just a minute later. Me neither, I cried when I found out. But you're still my best friend, and we'll find another way. We always do. The next few days, they talked more often, not because they had to, but because they wanted to. Mia sent a photo of the bracelet Ella had mailed her. It was on her wrist. The card Ella made was hanging on her bedroom wall. Ella smiled at the photo, and she took a picture of herself wearing her bracelet too, holding the notebook. She sent it with the message. One plan failed, but the dream didn't. The week went on. They began a new idea, writing letters by hand. Real letters, not texts or voice notes. Letters they would mail, decorated with small doodles and little surprises inside. It felt old-fashioned. But special Ella received the first one from Mia. A week later, inside was a short letter, a pressed yellow leaf from Mia's new park, and a joke about squirrels chasing their tails. Ella laughed for real. She held the letter close to her chest and whispered, "This is better than any app." That evening, she wrote her reply with extra drawings, a short poem, and a photo of their bench, covered in snow. Friendship, she wrote, is not built on perfect plans. It's built on care, patience, and trying again and again. Again, because humans don't stop just because things go wrong. They feel, they fall. But they keep reaching out, even in sadness. That's what makes them strong. That's what brings them back to each other. And Ella knew when the time was right, the visit would happen. Until then, the love would still travel. Asterisk spring had arrived. The air was warmer. The flowers in the park were beginning to bloom again, soft pinks and yellows waking up after a long, cold winter. Children were flying kites, when birds filled the sky with gentle songs. Ella sat on the bench again, the same one she had visited. All these months, this time she wasn't writing. Her notebook sat on her lap, closed. Her heart was full. But today was the day. She kept checking her watch, not because she was nervous, but because she could hardly believe it. After months of voice messages, calls, drawings, and letters, Mia was coming. For real, this time, no delay. No change of plans. Ella's mom had called Mia's mom the week before. They had talked, arranged everything quietly, and agreed that the time had finally come. And now Ella was just minutes away from seeing her best friend again. She stood up and looked around the path. People walked by, smiling, enjoying the day. And then she saw her, Mia, wearing a blue jacket, carrying a small bag, her hair tied up, the way she always did when she was excited. And the biggest smile on her face. Ella didn't wait. She ran forward, her feet barely touching the ground. Mia dropped her bag and opened her arms. They hugged tight, warm, and full of all the missing months. Neither said a word at first. They just held on. Then both of them began to laugh. It's not because anything was funny, but because they were happy. Really, truly happy. You're real, Mia whispered. You are too, Ella said, smiling through happy tears. They walked to the bench together, sat down side by side, and didn't rush anything. Mia looked around. It's just like I remember. Maybe even better. Ella nodded, 'cause you're here now. They talked for hours. Shared little stories they hadn't told over the phone. They showed each other their notebooks, full of drawings, quotes, and small dreams. They even opened the bracelets they had worn all this time. I never took mine off, Mia said. Me neither, Ella replied, as the sun started to lower. In the sky, the light golden and soft, they sat in peaceful silence. I'm glad we never gave up, Mia said quietly. Me too, Ella said. Even when it was hard. Even when we weren't sure what to say, Mia nodded. That's what makes it real, I think. Trying. Even when things aren't perfect. They smiled at each other. And in that moment, it didn't matter how long they had been apart. It didn't matter how many days had passed in silence. What mattered was that they had found their way back, because that's what people do when they care, when they try, when they hope. They return later. Mia pulled out her phone and took a picture of them on the bench. For the notebook, she said. Ella giggled. Let's write this day down, every part of it. They did that night. When Ella got home, she opened her notebook and wrote the final page for this chapter. She came back, not just to the bench, but into my world. And now I know distance doesn't break real connections. It just teaches us how strong they are. She closed the book and placed it gently on her desk. It wasn't the end of the story, just a beautiful new beginning.